Welcome to the Athletic Edge Podcast, where we dive deep into the science behind peak sports performance. I'm Chaz, and I'm joined by my amazing co-hosts, Rocco and Nolan. Today, we're exploring a classic debate in the athletic training, speed versus strength. Which is more important, and how do we decide? Rocco, how's everything going, man?
I'm excited to dig into this one, Chaz. It's a debate I think every athlete and coach has had at some point. Should the focus be on getting faster or getting stronger?
It's definitely a big topic. And what's interesting is that while it seems straightforward, the reality is a lot more nuanced. Both speed and strength are essential, but the importance really depends on the athlete itself, their sport, and the phase of training they're in.
Absolutely. We're going to break down each component, explain their roles, and even give you practical training tips. So let's dive in.
To kick things off, let's define what we mean by speed and strength. When we talk about speed, we're really discussing an athlete's ability to move quickly and generate acceleration over short distances. It's crucial for sports like track and field, soccer, and even basketball, where quick bursts are essential.
Right. Strength, on the other hand, is the ability to exert force against resistance. This is key for weightlifting, powerlifting, and contact sports like football, where pushing and holding your position against an opponent is all that really matters.
And to back this up, research from Simply Faster highlights that while speed and strength are distinct, they're often interconnected. For instance, sprinting relies on explosive strength, which is the force your muscles can generate quickly.
And that right there brings us to a concept called the force-velocity curve, which shows that speed and strength are on opposite ends of the spectrum but influence each other. If you increase your strength, you can move with more power and therefore become faster. But if you only train one aspect, you're missing out on maximizing your athletic potential.
You know what? That's right. And Built Not Born points out the difference between speed, strength, and strength, speed. Each focuses on different aspects of the force-velocity relationship, making it clear that for true power and true development, athletes must train both.
Okay, so let's move into how this debate plays out in different sports. Bless you. In a sport like football, for example, where linemen rely on raw power to push against each other, like Luis Ordaz, strength is critical. But for skill positions like wide receivers, like Guillermo, speed and quickness are essential.
True, but it's also important to consider sports like basketball or rugby, where players need a combination of both speed and strength to perform at their best, like Ryan Zest Heckman. They need the ability to change direction quickly, but they also need the power to hold their ground when defending.
Train Magazine explains that in multi-directional sports, an athlete's speed often benefits from strength training. Biometrics and sprint drills build speed, but they're only effective when there's already a strong base of muscle to work from.
In fact, Simply Faster suggests that for many team sports, developing speed with the foundation of strength gives athletes the competitive edge needed for rapid movements and powerful actions.
And think about sports like boxing, for example, where it's not just about how hard you hit, but also about how quickly you move. You need that speed to dodge, react, and strike hard, no mercy, effectively.
So what does this mean for athletes and coaches? How do you build a program that integrates both speed and strength effectively?
It's all about periodization. Athletes should start by building maximal strength through compound lifts like squat, deadlift, and bench presses.
You're making your voice sound deeper, man.
This phase builds the muscle mass and force production compatibility necessary for explosive movements later.
And as they progress, athletes can transition into more explosive work using plyometrics like box jumps, sprint drills, and medicine balls, tosses to convert that raw strength into speed. According to Built Not Born, these exercises help train the muscles to produce force rapidly, which is the key to speed development.
Exactly. And let's not forget about reactive strength training, which involves drills like low hurdle jumps and sprint bounding. These exercises are designed to reduce ground contact time, crucial for improving sprint speed in athletes.
And it's interesting to note that elite FTS highlights the importance of technique in these phases. For instance, exercises like a power clean, also known as a hang clean, or snatch must be performed with precise form to maximize their benefits for speed, strength. These are technically demanding, but when executed well, they train the body to move explosively. Why does it just say?
Research from Simply Faster indicates that for sports like soccer and basketball, integrating strength and speed training leads to the highest performance improvements because these athletes need to react quickly while also exerting force.
And it's not just anecdotal. Multiple studies show that speed can't be maximized without a solid strength base. Even for sports that emphasize quickness, athletes often benefit from an initial strength phase to develop the muscular power necessary for high-speed movements.
However, though, it's important to know your sport. Train Magazine points out that for sprinters, keeping lean muscle mass is crucial. So speed-focused training should dominate. In contrast, rugby players who face physical contact need to prioritize strength to handle the demands of their sport.
And according to Built Not Born, not only do these methods differ, but it's also crucial to measure your progress. Using tools like force plates and timing systems, athletes can monitor their development and adjust training programs accordingly. The data shows that athletes who integrate both speed and strength training experience more significant improvements in performance than those who focus on one alone.
What's the final takeaway? Is one more important than the other?
You know, it really depends. For sports like powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting, strength takes the cake. But in track and field events or any other sport that relies on quick bursts of speed, speed-focused training really is more important. The key is finding a balance and knowing when and where to emphasize each.
Research shows that developing both speed and strength, though targeted and periodized training, gives athletes the best shot at maximizing their potential. If you only train for strength, you risk becoming powerful but slow. If you only train for speed, you might be quick but lack the power to make it impactful.
Absolutely. So for all the athletes and coaches out there, remember, train both. Start with strength to build a foundation, then transition into explosive and speed-based exercises. And don't forget to use technology to track your progress.
Wow, was that well said? And if you're just starting out, maybe consult with a coach to build a tailored plan that aligns with your sport's demands. Strength and speed aren't opposites. They're allies when it comes to building elite performance.
With that wraps up today's episode of The Athletic Edge. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, it's not about choosing between speed and strength. It's about using both to become the most powerful and dynamic athlete you can be.
And we will make America great again.